It really depends what game they want to get into. So there's redevelopments, there's buy to let, which is easier in that sense, but not as lucrative now. I think property goes through phases, and the buy to let game is kind of dead now. A lot of people have jumped on it, and the prices are so high that you have to rent the property out for 20 years to get your money back. Now that's still an amazing deal as an investment, but like there's better ways of doing it. But I think just to get your foot in the door, you can still go down that route. And to get an investment property, you need a 10% deposit, ideally 20. So if you can struggle for a little bit,
you reckon you can get a buy to let with 10% deposit?
You can get it. It's just going to be, the interest rates are going to be higher because obviously the lender, especially in these times. So if you're watching this now in late 2020, early 2021, mortgage lenders are very wary to lend to you at low percentages because they're doing the calculation of if something happens to the property market and prices fall by 10%. Then my investment is kind of gone because they've only taken a 10% deposit. If prices fall by 20%, they're in the minus because you can just stop paying a mortgage and they're taking a loss on that extra 10%. So that's their calculations. It's always good to understand how the lenders think about it because you put yourself in a better position. So for me, for example, right now, I don't buy unless it's 35% deposit because first of all, it covers me, myself. It's not the loan to value is so it will be at a 35% deposit.
Yeah.
So the loan to value is 65%.
Yeah.
So it covers you if prices fall, but it also covers them, and it's lower. The interest rate is a lot lower. You know, you can get interest rates like 1.9%, which is touching inflation really. So you're basically getting an interest rate for free if you include inflation into the price. That's one way to play it. Obviously, depending on where the person is, getting a 20% or even 10% for London, it's going to be tougher. It can be done. You can get a 2-bedroom flat. You can get a 1-bedroom flat, and it can still be done. But it still requires that little bit of discipline for at least a couple of years while you put that 20-30k together, and then after that point, maybe like it's just about learning. Some people kind of take on the building work themselves. Nothing major, but like they learn how to do flooring and skirting, and you know what I'm saying. It's not hard. It's not hard to put a laminate flooring down. Like it takes a few hours. Just watch YouTube. So it's like there's other ways of paying for it without putting money down. Your time is also a payment for it. If you buy a rundown place, then you can pay for the major work to be done by the builder. But anything over that, then you can do yourself. The painting, the flooring, the skirt, all of that you can do yourself. If you're really on a tight budget, then why not? You know what I'm saying? And you teach yourself new skills.
For a lot of people, I want to clarify this, is that a lot of people will say your parents giving you money is help.
Yeah.
Which obviously, as someone who's like helped set up a successful media company, it made money from like the YouTube boom and stuff, you would say no, I didn't have help from my parents. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Not in the beginning they helped me with, but this was around 2010. But it wasn't in terms of like property and stuff like that. YouTube obviously did help, and that the money that I would make from YouTube, I would really be like really careful with it, and because we'd had some bad experiences as well where people would hack the channel and the channel disappeared. Like I learned from early that like this thing could go at any time. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Anything could go at any time. So it kind of made me extra wary of just kind of living life without money. So I just kind of put it to the side. It's cool, I'll save it. It's alright, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll live life later. I'll save it for now. So it's like that helped me. And then my parents did help though. Don't get me wrong. Like my mom and dad, my dad will help me with like. Sometimes like he'd find connects for the builders and stuff like that, because my experience wasn't in building, even though I was passionate about like design and stuff, like I didn't know a lot of builders, etc. So my parents definitely helped in that sense, and I think my parents also helped a lot in terms of me living with them, for example.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that is a big help because that saves a lot of money, and you know what I'm saying, my mum making me food, that's help them covering the bills where we lived. I didn't really contribute that much. Like my contribution was minimal. Like I wouldn't even would have been like £100 a month or whatever. So that's nothing really. Like So they helped in that sense a lot, and I really appreciate it. But they knew that I was doing the right thing, so they kind of were happy.
Yeah.
You know, ones like they knew the goal, so like they were more than happy to help. For me, it's like this is just specifically for me, like I would maybe take on a big video project or something like that, where I wouldn't necessarily want to do it. For me, music videos are a headache, but you take it on if you wanted to make money quick. I don't find myself in that position, so I don't think I would do it. But like for people who want to make money quick, I don't think there's a magic answer, you know. There's ways of making quick money which aren't legal, but like that's not what we're talking about. And if you want to make quick money legally, then you're gonna have to put in the work. Like it's gonna have to be something like, unless you find a really good job, but that's a stable job. Then you're gonna have to put in the work, whether it's like a trade or something that you do like in the media or like even like production. It's gonna have to be that. There's no way of making quick money. It's a tricky question, and and I'm trying to answer it the best way I can. I appreciate the people who are genuinely happy for me. The more successful you get, some people get envious. I've experienced it a little bit myself, and it's kind of disappointing and it's kind of sad. You'd expect the people around you to be happy. I think the majority of the people are happy. There's a few that, you know, change the way they act towards you, but there's nothing you can do. The way I see it is, as long as I'm a good person and as long as I'm not rubbing it in their face, and as long as I'm just being genuinely myself and not being this stuck-up guy, which I think I'm not. Like I feel like I'm quite down to earth, and there's not much more I can do. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like you can't help the way people feel. Like sometimes it's natural. You know, I felt envious towards people as well when I was younger, like when I was struggling and stuff like that. So I guess it's a natural feeling. You're just gonna have to keep it moving and just hope that they.
So when you say people act differently, how would you say like asking for money or like expects you to do things, or what do you mean? No, different?
I wouldn't say like. See, the asking for money thing, like I try to facilitate it if I feel like it's genuine. I try and help out as much as I can. That's not the main thing. I think it's more like the emotional side of things, especially with the people closest to you. Like they change their behavior towards you. Some people become distant. Some people kind of just the vibe changes and you don't know what it is. You can kind of guess what it is, but it's like there's no way you can talk about it, etc.
Explicit,
there's no way. Stuff just changes, and it's like, and it shouldn't really. I feel like even for myself, for example, it shouldn't really, because I'm not really living that life. I might buy a nice car here and there, but you know what I'm trying to say, like everyone's got nice cars, so it's like whatever. Like, but apart from that, like I feel like I'm quite down to earth. But again, it's just sometimes it says more about other people's situation than it does about yours, and I just try and be I try to be as understanding as I can be with it, and not react to it, and just kind of leave them to it if they want to do their thing. Like. The one thing I find hard is that, like, because the majority of my family is like almost 2,000 miles away, like I do feel homesick in that sense. Even though I've lived a big portion of my life here, I do miss going back home a lot. Me and my two parents are here, and I don't have any siblings, so it's like you feel isolated a lot. So it's like you kind of have to push through that. So I think that the difficult thing for me hasn't been the work side of things. That's what keeps my mind off things. The difficult thing for me is that, like, I'm quite like, people keep telling me this, like a lot of girls like to read thingy signs, star signs. I don't believe in it, but they're like, yeah, you're this kind of person, like you need people around you, know? But it's like for me, like I do feel sometimes I do feel a bit secluded because there's just 3 of us here. Like it would have been nice to have that extended family which is back home. That has been a bit difficult, like, you know, grandma, grandparents, all of that kind of stuff, like aunties. Yeah, that's some people take that stuff for granted that have it. Like, and sometimes when I talk to people, I do explain to them, like, because people do tend to say to me like, oh, I wish I had the life you have, da 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 da, and it makes sense. But like, I also try and say like their positives that they're not really seeing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wish I had a bigger circle around me like you do, like here. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that, but you do, so you should always kind of see the positives in what you have. So that's been tough. Business is always tough though. Like I've lost money. Like, do you know what? I did there's one dumb mistake that I made around like 2014, 2015. Like, I got caught up in this investment hype as well. Just like people are now with Bitcoin and stuff, but it wasn't Bitcoin back then. I can't remember what it was. And I lost like, I can't remember, I think I lost like 15 or 20k overnight. And I was like, I hated myself for weeks. I hated myself for weeks. I'm like, how could you be so dumb? Like, why are you believing in all this hype? Da, da, da. Like, now, like, I'm happy because I learned my lesson. But like, yeah, stuff like that, like, yeah, that was a tough few weeks, man. Like, I couldn't even bear looking at myself in the mirror. You brush your teeth and you look at yourself and thinking, dickhead. like, you know what I was, but yeah, it's just like, those are just lessons. You take them as lessons, and like after a few years.
So do you do any investing at the moment, like in stocks and shares or in
No, not right now, because I'm mainly into like property right now. I've kind of kept it at that. I've got a few projects I need to finish, and up until I do those, I don't want to invest into anything because investment is risky. And the stock market is quite high right now. No one knows what's going to happen. It might fall, it might go higher, but I can't afford to take that risk. I've got projects lined up, and I can't play with money that's assigned to certain projects.
Right.
So not right now, but I think I will. I definitely think I will in the next 5 years, and I feel like it's going to be good as well. But I'm taking my time with it.